and conditions are not nice out on the roads, as you just heard from us earlier. The wind really going in Grand Forks. This is the view at Home of Economy. And if you look at the lot there, we've got some ice, we've got some snow on the surface and also on the roadway as well. You may be encountering this today as we make our way into the forecast into the morning hours. This will stick around. So please be careful as you are heading out the door. We saw one gentleman going into Home of Economy, moving very slowly, being very careful, and that's exactly what we want to see. In East Grand Forks and Grand Forks, a view along the river that is showing plenty of standing water out there. You can see it spilling over its banks into the lot, and then the snow on the ground. We're going to be dealing with conditions that are going to be troublesome for those places. Here's a look at our graph. We're looking at the Red River currently at moderate flood stage, 43-32 feet, and it's going up to 48.5 by the end of the week here this week. And in Fargo, not nearly as troublesome along the red, at least. We're at major flood stage, or rather at flood stage, minor flood stage at 22.28 feet, forecast to get up to about 23 feet. But still, that's going to cause some issues in the immediate areas along the river. Here's a look at the latest radar. We've got some light snow making its way through in some spots here this morning. Grand Forks was reporting a little bit of light snow earlier on. That will continue. We'll see off and on chances for some flakes here today. Temperatures will be cold everywhere. We're looking at numbers into the 20s throughout the valley this morning. It's 21 in Langdon. It's 24 in Grand Forks. Fargo's at 26 degrees. And that's causing all of that moisture out there to freeze up. We've got the cold north wind blowing in, and winds are gusting into the 30s to even some 40s, a 43-mile-per-hour gust right now in Fargo. So we are looking at conditions that are just going to be pretty miserable to be outside in. So if you need to be outdoors today, if you're joining in the flood fight, wear those layers, and of course waterproof layers too here when you're out there. And check out this wind chill. We are down to 3 degrees in Langdon. It feels like 8 in Grand Forks. Crookston 8. Fargo, it feels like 9. So it's just feeling more like January right now than it does April. And there will be some areas where visibility is down a bit on the roads where we have that light snow and that wind. We're at 3 miles in Detroit Lakes, 4 in Park Rapids, and just down slightly in places like Grafton, Grand Forks, and Thief River Falls. And keep in mind, you know, especially in those areas with flooding conditions, you don't want to run into trouble on the roads because you slide off and you might end up in some floodwaters here. We've got those slick conditions and in some cases, again, that low visibility. So a hazardous travel morning here for us today. That wind coming in out of the north will continue all day long. It will continue to drive in cooler air. So we're looking at conditions that are going to be chilly throughout the day. And by the time we get into the noon hour, temperatures trying to climb a couple of degrees, but not by much. And then there are still some pockets here of some light snow. The best bet for that will be up by Lake of the Woods, closer to our departing system, but still we're going to see the potential for that snow sticking around anywhere where we have some cloud cover into this afternoon. And notice our temperatures. We will be topping off in the upper 20s to some low 30s in most areas today. So running at 25, 30 degrees below average. And into tonight, well, more the same, more areas where we could see a little bit of light snow. Eventually, though, the wind does start to ease up. That happens late tonight and continues into the overnight hours until we're just looking at some light wind speeds tomorrow. But temperatures are going to be cold to start. We're looking at teens and 20s for a lot of places with the clearing skies out there. It will start off a quiet day, though, and that's exactly what we need. We'll take a look at your 7-day planner right after this. Maybe spring, but it feels like winter today. That's for sure, with frozen areas of water on the roads. So we're looking at icy patches, temperatures feeling more like the single digits when we factor in the wind. We do start to turn things around. Tuesday, we see some sunshine. Temperatures will rise back into the low 40s after a cold start. By Wednesday, we're at about 50 degrees for our high. We do have some chances for some precipitation returning in the second half of the week and heading into the weekend. But in general, we're kind of quieting things down here, at least for a few days, to help drain that water out of the system and not add any more, which is exactly what we want to see here at this point. And actually, cooler temperatures slow the runoff as well. So it's rough to be out in it, but with us freezing overnight, that slows things down a little bit.
Well, that's good to hear.
There's a silver lining to it, I guess.
There sure is. We need that. All right, Lisa, thank you this morning.